Hi and welcome to number 4 in the series of Photoshop tutorials. This lesson we're going to work on two images, Soccer 2 and Soccer 1. So I'm just going to open each of those respectively in Photoshop Elements 5 until that boots up. And the next one I want is right click, open with. There's several ways you can get these photos up on from your desktop, but we'll stick with the most basic. Alright, what we're going to do is just zoom in. We're going to cut around this image of the little rabbit, and we're going to place him on here on the mat with his mates that are playing soccer, and we're going to give them each a soccer ball to play with. So this tool we're going to use is the magnetic lasso tool. Now, because this is a very plain background, it is quite easy to do, but I'm going to show you quite intricately what to do, so you'll learn the proper skill of the tool rather than the cheats version. So basically with this tool we start off at a point and we just move and click every now and then. The tool actually will go around all the corners and the arcs and select itself, but just to ensure that it selects exactly what we want, I'm clicking fairly regularly along the whole image. With this particular image, I advise people to select the shadow that the bunny has made as well, because the little guys that I'm going to place him with have all got shadows and he will look quite peculiar and obviously snuck in the photo if you don't add the shadow in. The shadow is quite hard to pick up sometimes, that's why I click quite regularly around the edge just to ensure that it picks all of the shadow up, because it can sort of go off a pixel or two. I've also put it fairly close up, but not too close, so I have to zoom in and out or use my toolbars to scroll in and out, because once you move the magnetic lasso tool, it won't go back to your original point. It goes quite, it'll put sort of lines all over your image, and you don't want that. If that does happen, you're going to have to click escape on your keyboard and start again, so you don't really want to have to do that. Alright, again, when we start the point where we have selected everything, it will go to the marching ants, and we want to actually copy this and place it over in this photo. So a quick tool for copy is Control key on your keyboard and C for copy. Then I'm going to double click on the picture that we want it. Now notice that the magnetic lasso tool has come up there again. If you start clicking with that, it will lasso everything. So change it to your move tool, and Control V is your shortcut tool for paste, and you can just drag him wherever you want him to go. Okay. Right, that was easy. So now we're going to do the magnetic lasso tool again around the ball. Again, being careful that we select that shadow to ensure the continuity. Again, to a magnetic lasso tool, I'm not going to be quite as particular here, although you can't be too sloppy with the soccer ball, because the magnetic tool will really default to going into the black of the ball, and sort of it'll only select part of it, and it looks quite odd. So I'm going around it just quite delicately to ensure that it selects all of the ball. Okay, that's fairly good. It's got a little bit of green there, but since we're placing it in a green background, it doesn't really matter. If I was doing this on a textured background, or a background with pictures behind that, I would have to be a little bit more careful with that. Okay, again, Control C to copy, and grab your move tool, Control V paste, and then a ball. Control V, paste again, Control V, paste again, and they've each got a ball. Again, we can save this as a JPEG or a PSD. I'll probably rename that because I like to keep the originals of everything that I do. So you can click on save for that. Okay, so the tools that we've selected, that we've used in this tutorial, is the magnetic lasso tool, the Control C for copy, and Control V paste. Previous lessons we've used the blur tool, the smudge tool, we've used the magic selection brush tool and the selection brush tool, and we've also used the move tool, which is essential when you're immediately following your magnetic lasso tool, because that will stay as the default. Okay, and lesson concludes.